what if you could see through everyone? The unsettling truth Nietzsche knew. You already know something is off. That gut feeling. That nagging doubt about what people really mean. It's not in your head. People are constantly broadcasting their deepest truths, their hidden fears, their unspoken desires. Every nervous laugh, every subtle pause, every sudden overreaction, it's a clue. But you've been taught to look at the surface. You haven't been taught how to decode the human operating system. Imagine unlocking a hidden language. What if I told you that one of history's most brilliant minds, Friedrich Nietzsche, left behind 18 piercing psychological truths, truths that, once seen, will make it impossible to see people, or even yourself, the same way again. This isn't fluff. This isn't a quick fix or a list of superficial body language hacks. This is a profound, almost unsettling, breakdown of human nature. It's a philosophical master key, revealed in 3 transformational parts, each building on the last like a decryption sequence for the mask every single person wears. Miss even one part, and you'll lose the critical depth that makes everything click. But if you commit to this journey with me through all 3, a startling shift will occur. Not only will you see people with unprecedented clarity, you'll finally, deeply understand yourself. Are you ready to truly see? Let's begin. 1. The mask isn't fake, it's a shield, and what lies beneath. From the moment you drew your first breath, you were conditioned to accept words as truth. But Nietzsche issued a chilling warning: truth doesn't live in words, it lives in survival. People don't speak from clarity. They speak from fear. From ego. From the gaping wounds they've never dared to acknowledge. What you see, the easy kindness, the unwavering confidence, the serene calm, might just be an elaborate suit of armor. The woman who's excessively sweet. She might be battling a crushing terror of abandonment. The man who projects unshakable strength. He could be seconds away from a complete emotional collapse. And here's the most unsettling part: most people don't even know they're doing it. They aren't lying to you, they're hiding from themselves. Every profound spirit needs a mask. Nietzsche. He wasn't judging. He was warning: never mistake the mask for the person. But here's the game changer: people leak truth constantly. In the almost imperceptible stutter before a lie. In the forced, nervous laugh. In that sudden, unnatural dodge when a topic gets too close to the bone. Nietzsche's first truth reveals the cracks. Everyone wears a mask, not because they're fake, but because they're scared. Watch for the flicker. The subtle flinch. The jarring overreaction. That's not an act, that's the crack where the real person begins to show. What someone hates in others is what they can't face in themselves. This isn't just criticism, it's a mirror. The person who constantly mocks arrogance. They might secretly feel profoundly small. The one who accuses everyone of deceit. They're often guarding a truth they refuse to admit about themselves. When someone criticizes endlessly, they're not just talking about others, they're screaming about their own shadow. Silence speaks louder than words. Infinitely louder. Pay attention to the absence of sound. The pregnant pause. The oddly short, canned answers. The sudden, chilling shift in tone. People don't avoid topics unless those topics hold immense, terrifying power. That silence. It's fear wearing a muzzle. And it's screaming. Excessive virtue is often disguised vanity. Be deeply skeptical of anyone who loudly broadcasts their own goodness. True goodness doesn't need a spotlight, it simply is. The louder the moral preaching, the deeper and more desperate the ego hiding underneath. People don't lie to you first, they lie to themselves. When someone insists, "I'm fine," or "I've moved on," or "I don't care," they're not primarily deceiving you. They've rehearsed those lines so long, they've convinced themselves. This is why inconsistencies are your ultimate window, they're cracks in self-deception. Where someone acts superior, they're hiding deep inferiority. True confidence is quiet, almost invisible. So when you see someone brag, dominate, or mock others, resist the urge to believe them. Look deeper. Behind that performative superiority, almost always a scared child desperately trying to be enough. Understanding people isn't about control. It's about a profound, almost painful, compassion. When you truly grasp why someone interrupts, overshares, or deliberately avoids eye contact, you don't judge them. You stop judging them entirely. Instead, you begin to see them. 2. The truth lies in the fear, unmasking the unconscious. By now, you're not just passively hearing people, you're actively watching them. You're noticing the nervous twitch when the conversation edges too close. The subtle way their tone hardens when challenged. The almost imperceptible tell in their exaggerated claims. These aren't just quirks. They're chilling confessions. Nietzsche didn't believe the self was a fixed entity. He believed it was a constant performance, a fragile patchwork of defenses painstakingly built to survive. And when that carefully constructed persona is threatened, truth doesn't just leak out, it gushes. Most actions are driven by unconscious fear. Period. Why does someone incessantly talk over others? Why do they suddenly ghost you? Why do they force a smile when their eyes scream agony? Fear. Not necessarily fear of you, but fear of loss. Fear of rejection. Fear of profound humiliation. Ask yourself, what are they terrified of losing? That single question holds the key to their entire story. Criticism is projection in disguise. Always. The loudest critics are, almost without exception, the most deeply insecure. The emotionally cold man who mocks sensitivity in others. He's absolutely terrified of his own feelings. When you trace judgment back to its source, you will invariably find the part of themselves they brutally disowned. Guilt hides behind false confidence. That person who seems impossibly composed, always in control, never missing a beat. Watch their body. The barely perceptible clenched jaw. The over-rehearsed words. The sudden, disproportionate flash of anger when questioned. That's guilt. That's a gaping wound they are desperately trying to seal shut with performance. Exaggeration is ego drowning in insecurity. I literally don't care what anyone thinks. I am always happy. No human being truly feels those extremes. When someone speaks in such absolute terms, they're not expressing conviction, they're desperately trying to silence a torrent of internal doubt. Volume doesn't mean strength, it means profound fear. Control freaks aren't strong, they're utterly terrified. If someone micromanages everything, if they panic at the slightest change, if they ruthlessly dominate relationships, this isn't about power. It's inner chaos screaming for external order. It's a cry for help disguised as dominance. The louder the performance, the emptier the core. Just look at social media. The more someone needs to be seen, the less they fundamentally believe they matter without the performance. Real wholeness doesn't beg for attention, it simply radiates a quiet, unshakable peace. You're feeling it now, aren't you? You're not just walking into a room, you're perceiving intricate patterns. You're not just hearing words, you're hearing echoes of deep wounds. This is the extraordinary gift Nietzsche gave us, not control, not fleeting superiority, but unparalleled vision. And with that vision comes a profound responsibility. Because the deeper you see, the less you judge. And the more grace you are compelled to give. 3. Behind every mask is a wound, the root of all human behavior. We've meticulously stripped back the surface behaviors. Now, we're about to expose their deepest, most painful roots. Because behind every deeply held belief is not cold logic, it's often raw, unaddressed pain. People don't argue from facts, they argue from trauma. When someone declares, love is a scam, or people can't be trusted, they aren't stating a universal truth, they are fiercely guarding a wound. Stop asking what they believe. Start asking, what broke them? That single question changes absolutely everything. True character is revealed in how someone treats the powerless. Watch how someone reacts to weakness. Can they sit with another's profound sadness without trying to fix it? Do they forgive what they could easily punish? That's not just strength, that's the ultimate measure of humanity. Not domination, but profound, selfless restraint. The hunger for attention is pure fear of being forgotten. Notice me is almost always just a desperate whisper of, please, don't erase me. People don't perform to shine, they perform because they desperately need to matter. Stop asking, why are they so loud? Start asking, what happens to them if they're not? Attacks often hide crippling envy. The most venomous critic may, in fact, secretly admire what they're ruthlessly tearing down, they just don't believe they'll ever achieve it themselves. Envy is a deeply buried dream, whispered and contorted through bitter judgment. Adults are endlessly acting out childhood scripts. The child who was ignored becomes the insatiable attention seeker. The child who is constantly punished becomes the rigid perfectionist. People aren't truly living from conscious beliefs, they are endlessly reenacting the roles they were forced to play to survive. Want to truly understand someone? Ask. Who did they have to become to make it through their childhood? Patterns are relentless confessions. Someone consistently ghosts when intimacy starts to deepen. Confession. Someone flirts relentlessly but never commits. Confession. These aren't random behaviors, they are deeply ingrained survival strategies. They are stories etched into behavior, crying out to be heard. Nietzsche taught us that most people aren't villains or even helpless victims, they are simply humans, surviving as best they can, behind masks they didn't choose. But now, you can see them. Not just partially. Clearly. And in the very act of seeing them, you'll begin the startling process of remembering yourself. This is the beginning of your vision. It will change everything. Every single truth you've just encountered isn't just about them, it's a profound mirror reflecting you. Your own patterns. Your own hidden fears. Your own unaddressed past. Because to truly see others clearly is to be jolted wide awake to yourself. If this resonated with a tremor deep inside you, don't keep it hidden. Comment below right now, which of Nietzsche's truths hit you the hardest? Which one made you pause? And if you're ready to dive even deeper into the raw, exhilarating psychology of human nature, subscribe. Because this journey isn't over. It's just beginning. It's one thing to merely notice the mask. It's another, far more transformative, thing to feel it crack. And once you do, once you truly understand what lies beneath, you will never look at anyone, including your own reflection, the same way again. Conclusion: the unshakable art of seeing through, and rising above. You've now journeyed through 18 of Nietzsche's most piercing psychological truths, and if you've allowed yourself to absorb them, something profound, irreversible, has likely shifted inside you. Maybe now, when someone smiles with forced cheer, you'll feel a flicker of quiet sadness in their eyes. Maybe when someone boasts loudly, you'll hear the almost inaudible tremor of fear hiding beneath the echo. Maybe when someone attacks with venom, you'll sense the buried envy, or the deep, unhealed wound, underneath their fury. This is not paranoia. This is heightened perception. You are not becoming more cynical, you are becoming breathtakingly precise. And this, precisely, is what Nietzsche meant all along, to see through the grand illusions without sacrificing your soul. To read people with such profound depth that you no longer mistake their transient behavior for their true identity. To finally realize that most people aren't malicious, they're afraid. They're not cold, they're fiercely guarded. They're not arrogant, they're aching. The mirror and the mask, your ultimate challenge. Once you possess the extraordinary ability to see through the mask, the truly terrifying, yet liberating, question becomes, can you see your own? This is where almost everyone stops. They believe decoding others is the ultimate prize. But Nietzsche, and life itself, demands infinitely more. The deeper, more courageous challenge is to unflinchingly turn that blinding vision inward. Because everything you've just learned about people also applies, with chilling precision, to you. What you most vehemently criticize in others may be what you secretly, desperately fear in yourself. What you overperform, what you tirelessly project, may be an elaborate mask for a wound you've never dared to name. The roles you unconsciously play, the quiet observer, the relentless fixer, the effortlessly confident one, the self-proclaimed loner, may all be intricate parts of your armor, not the core of your essence. You have been conditioned to survive. But what once helped you survive may now be savagely keeping you from truly living. Your own patterns are also profound confessions. Your silences. Your instantaneous defensiveness. Your gnawing need to be seen, or your paralyzing fear of being seen. Nietzsche understood this with unparalleled clarity. He didn't just want us to clinically analyze others, he wanted us to ignite an awakening within ourselves. He believed that the greatest strength isn't control over others, but the absolute clarity within ourselves. To stop acting. To start simply, powerfully being. Why this skill is so rare, and so dangerous. The ability to see through people is nothing short of a superpower. But like all immense power, it carries an inherent danger. You might be tempted to wield it for manipulation. To stay one chilling step ahead. To ruthlessly win every interaction. But Nietzsche didn't write these truths so you could win petty arguments, he wrote them so you could stop playing shallow games entirely. So you could stop being perpetually fooled by the fleeting surface of things, and finally connect with the raw, authentic substance underneath. Because the more clearly, the more compassionately you see someone, the harder it becomes to hate them. And the more unflinchingly you see yourself, the harder it becomes to lie to yourself. This is the precipice most people never dare to cross. They learn a few clever tricks. A few fleeting observations. They expertly spot the red flags and sense the tension, but they use it only to inflate their ego, never to elevate their soul. But you are being called to go further. To look at someone mid-conflict and understand, with profound empathy, this is their wound speaking, not their truth. To look at your own visceral reaction and ask, with fierce honesty, what am I desperately trying to defend right now? This is rare. This is incredibly hard. But this is precisely how genuine inner freedom begins. Don't just read people, understand them. And free yourself. Reading people isn't about becoming a walking lie detector or a cynical judge. It's about becoming profoundly compassionate without ever becoming naive. When someone abruptly withdraws from you, you won't panic, you'll understand the fear driving them. When someone overexplains or wildly exaggerates, you won't judge, you'll instinctively listen deeper for the insecurity. When someone throws an insult or puts on a performance, you won't retaliate, you'll see directly through the act to the raw, aching pain beneath. And maybe, just maybe, you'll stop seeing enemies everywhere. You'll stop needing to be rigidly right. You'll stop desperately needing validation from people who don't even know who they are. This is what it truly means to evolve. Nietzsche's truths aren't designed to harden you, they are meant to shatter your illusions and awaken you. They are meant to pierce the fragile illusion of personality so you can finally meet the vulnerable, complex human underneath. Because when you bravely strip away the ego, the fear, the desperate defense, what's left is a human being who simply wants to be seen, accepted, loved, and safe. And that, my friend, is true for every single person you will ever encounter, including, and especially, yourself. You are the pattern breaker. Embrace it. If you've resonated with these truths, it's not by accident. It's probably because you feel people with an almost painful intensity. You've always sensed that something was fundamentally amiss in how others present themselves. You've instinctively seen the smiles that didn't quite reach their eyes. The hollow praise that felt performative. The whispered, "I'm fine," that carried a silent, desperate scream underneath. You are the one who notices. You are the one who sees what others desperately ignore. You are the one who viscerally remembers what it means to be truly, brutally real. But now, you've been given the language for it. The illuminating framework. The powerful flashlight. Use it wisely. Not for manipulation, but for liberation. Because the world doesn't need more judgment. It needs a seismic surge of awareness. You don't have to fix people. You don't have to aggressively call them out. But you do have the profound responsibility to stop being fooled by the act, and, crucially, to stop performing your own. This is your extraordinary gift now, the unshakable ability to walk through any room and not get hopelessly caught in the noise. To see the utter chaos lurking behind perfect control. To hear the deep ache hidden behind loud anger. To feel the scared child beneath the harshest critic. The final, liberating truth, clarity is compassion. The world is overflowing with masks. With endless performances. With silent, profound pain. But you, if you've bravely made it this far, are no longer a passive spectator. You are no longer sleepwalking through your interactions. You are no longer a prisoner of suffocating confusion. You are awake now. And with that blazing awareness comes an almost sacred power. Not the power to dominate, but the exhilarating power to free yourself. You'll stop reacting on impulse. You'll start noticing with unparalleled precision. You'll listen not just to what is said, but to the thunderous silence of what is not said. And in doing so, you'll touch the places in others that even they forgot existed. This isn't about striving for unattainable perfection. It's about becoming radically, courageously present. It's about being brave enough to look unflinchingly beneath the mask, in others, and most powerfully, in yourself. Because the more profoundly you understand people, the more you'll realize this fundamental, heartbreaking truth. Everyone is carrying something you cannot see. Everyone is performing a role they never truly asked for. Everyone is silently, desperately asking, do you see me? Do I still matter? Am I safe to be real? So be the one who truly sees. Be the one who courageously chooses grace over ego. Be the one who notices the mask, but never, ever forgets the sacred soul beneath it. And that makes you utterly, profoundly unshakable. If this ignited something within you, don't let it fade. Share your reflection immediately. Comment below, which truth hit you the deepest. Subscribe right now for more profound insights into the human condition. Because once you've truly seen the truth behind the mask, you simply don't ever go back. You evolve. You rise. You become. And that's the real journey Nietzsche wanted us all to take, not toward power over others, but an unyielding, glorious power over illusion itself. Welcome to the rarest kind of freedom, clarity.